Hello, Taurus, and welcome to Indigo Rising Tarot. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope you're having a great day. Starting to see some signs of spring here, although it's still a little chilly out, but it's just getting so pretty. The flowers, everything's turning green. I love it. I'm so ready for summer. This will be your weekly reading for the week of April 13th through the 19th, and during that time, we will have the full moon on the 13th. So, of course, that's a time of heightened emotions. You'd be prone to being a little bit overwhelmed or anxious. You might have uh, interruptions in your sleeping patterns. I know that's something that I do experience myself. I can't sleep when there's a full moon. So, just kind of, go with the flow. Try not to be too irritable or snappy, and just know that can be just an intense time for energy. We will then move into the waning gibbous energy, which of course is kind of that let go after the full moon, and it's a good time for self-reflection and rebirth. Good time to make positive changes and get rid of some bad habits, negative thinking, and buckle down and work towards the things that you are trying to accomplish. So please keep those moon energies in mind as you're moving through your week. This will be an intuitive general reading for the energies that you may or may not encounter, Taurus. So, of course, please take what resonates and leave what doesn't for someone else. All right, your overall message card, Taurus, for this reading: you are good enough. And I always want to say, if that card comes out, and I want to say, and gosh darn it, people like you. Remember, was it Stuart Smiley on SNL? Showing my age there for sure. But those skits were so funny. All right, Taurus, while I'm shuffling the tarot, I would like to say that since my readings are free to you, all I ask in return is that you hit that subscribe button. It really does help my channel, and it's super easy for you to do. So I'll give you just a moment to do that right now. Thank you so much. And if you've been a subscriber, thank you so much for coming back and helping me build a community here. I see you, and I really do appreciate you. I would also like to, my weekly reminder would be for you to notice the world around you this week, in the way of, things like synchronicities. So this could be animals that you see, or repeating number patterns, maybe songs, conversations that you overhear. But watch for those synchronicities as the universe speaks to you. There's always clues and breadcrumbs for you to follow, and they're just there to show you clarity on your unique path. So just my little reminder for the week. All right, Taurus, April 13 through 19. All right, let's see what you guys have going on. Your present energy, Taurus, Knight of Pentacles. So, looks like you've got some sort of action coming in on, the material realm. This could be, something financial. This something that's just kind of going on for you. This could be, maybe a bonus that comes in for you. This could just be action in your material world when it comes to your, your living space. This could be some spring cleaning that you're doing. I know I had this card come up just in my own individual reading the other day, and that's exactly what I was doing that day. Was just kind of outside and, doing that little, what's out there from winter and getting it cleaned up. So that's just kind of, you're in like this action phase this week, and this kind of feeling of wanting to get things accomplished. Your current situation is the Knight of Wands. So maybe you want to accomplish these things in a hurry. So whatever this is that's coming in with the Knight of Pentacles, it's something you're feeling passionate about. It's something that you enjoy doing so much that you want to do it faster, right? So that's pretty awesome. Great energy there. At the root of your situation are many choices, and this could be emotional choices, but it doesn't have to be. Uh, so, you've got a lot of choices, a lot of, it looks like some activities and things going on and choices to make. And like I said, if this is about your living space, this could, maybe you are doing some sort of improvement, um and you are just being faced with a lot of choices and having to make those choices, and it could be overwhelming. I know it is for me. It's like, well, what color, what size, what this, what that, all the things that go into making some sort of change if you're doing like a renovation or whatever. So a lot of choices for you this week, and that's kind of causing, it's causing this action here with both of these knights. In your recent past, it looks like you've just gone through some sort of ending and some sort of push through. That, this is, You know, when we see the 10 of wands, this is kind of that final push, and you've just gone through something like that, and here you are. So, you know, you've made that final push, and maybe it's time to just, you know, refocus and regroup and figure out now what you're going to focus on now that you've come to, you've had some sort of ending that you've recently just done. What's on your mind this week is the Empress. So, you know, of course, this is sitting in your creative thought. This is feeling, you know, feeling very plentiful. This could be, this is our card of pregnancy, so it could be that for some of you. Doesn't always have to be. And of course, you know, when it comes to pregnancy, it could also be just the giving birth to a thing. Like I said, if it's like a home improvement, you're birthing a new room in front of you. You know, you're painting and sprucing up and throwing some new furniture out, and that's also, you know, that's also a pregnancy. That's giving birth to just something, some creative vision that you've had that now you're putting out into the world. So that's definitely on your mind this week. And here I'm going to go back to this card because it's pointing me back up there, is you are good enough. So whatever it is that you're doing, you know, if you're feeling like you're kind of second guessing yourself when it comes to this creative process or these choices that you're making, you know, as you're pushing through and doing this, you're good enough, and be confident in the decisions that you're making. What is just ahead of you this week is the Two of Pentacles. So kind of juggling things, and yeah, that would totally go with that if you are doing, you know, some sort of improvement, that it's a disruption of sorts, and it does make you kind of have to juggle things. You know, I mean, I know, like, if you're doing something in your kitchen in the remodeling way, you can't cook while you're doing that. So that's kind of a juggle. Like, okay, now I have to actually still have to feed everybody, and let's find a way to do that. So you're kind of juggling things, and you might have to, maybe your routine isn't going to be the same as what it typically would be this week as you're doing, you know, this creative thing and this project, whatever it is that you have going on, but you'll get through it. You can juggle all that. It's not the end of the world to kind of move things around, and you'll get through that. Your advice for this week is, yeah, buckle down and get it done. And you know, this is the card of work, and it is the card of just kind of, you know, let's focus. It's you know, the Eight of Pentacles is about focusing, but it's also, it's about being in a good workspace, kind of where the world melts away around you, and you're just so focused that you don't even watch the clock. You're just so into what you're doing that that it becomes fun and it becomes enjoyable, and you look up and it's like, oh, it's you've been there for hours excuse me, working on this thing, and you didn't even notice because you were actually enjoying the work. So that's a great thing there. Secret desire, or I'm sorry, what is beyond your control this week, is the Three of Pentacles. So this would be, you know, this is coming together with others. Here's where other people come in and maybe they're offering their opinions. This is kind of a card of collaboration, right? So here, you know, here you are hard at work and you've got this idea, and someone else is maybe, you know, has an opinion on the paint color or the you know, some choice that you've made. And again, you're going to remain confident in this. This is your creation and doing it, and you are good enough. So don't let those, you know, of course, other people's opinions matter, especially if it's people that you live with and it affects them too. If it's, you know, for example, if it is something that you're working on in your home, but, you know, ultimately, if you've taken on this project, then maybe it is your decision. And I'm going to say again, be confident in those decisions that you make. You know, nothing is the end of the world. If you feel like it's something that's a little bit bold, you can maybe pull back later, or you can, you know, find a way to make it work differently. But go ahead and trust those decisions if you're making bolder type decisions. What is your secret desire, or what you're trying to avoid? Of course, your secret desire is to be happy with the outcome of all of this, of the project, and whatever it is that you're working on. So don't blame you there. I hope you're not trying to avoid happiness. I would question that if you are. So, what is your outcome? Your outcome is strength and inner strength, because you are good enough. And at the end, when you're happy with everything that you've accomplished here, you're going to be like, wow, I did it, and I am good enough, and I made those choices, and it's great, and look at it. So I do love that, Taurus. Let's get a final message here from the Soul Oracle deck. Final message for Taurus. And, you know, I've used home improvement here as an example, but this could be, you know, this could be you being creative at work, Same thing. And all of the, tarot is a template. All of these things still apply. You may have to juggle things, move things around, but you're giving birth to something creative, and it's something that, you're being reminded that you have the inner strength to do it. You can get to a place, you can buckle down, get to work. You can also make those decisions, and you can collaborate, and you can hear what other people have to say, but in the end, it's your decision. So whatever it is that you're working on, I just see it's going to be great. You'll be happy with it at the end of the week. All right, final message here for Taurus. Count your blessings. That's always good. We're going to grab another card from the Soul Oracle deck here. Raise your vibration. Yeah, Taurus, I see, I just feel like it's just not a whole lot of stress going on this week. I mean, you're doing things, and you're very active, and you're working at something, but I don't see, oh, excuse me, I don't see any big disruptors or anything like that. It's just kind of a good flow. A good flow to the week. Aries had the same type of week. And that could just be everyone's energy this week, as we come off of this full moon, and maybe it just seems like it's just a really great flow week so far. We'll see how everyone else's readings go this week. But Taurus, I hope there was something that you can take away and use from this reading. I do really appreciate your time here with me today. Again, I just see you having a nice, calm week next week, and buckling down and working on some creative project, and getting it accomplished. And I think that's great. Um, Again, I hope there was something that you can take away and use. If you're comfortable sharing and letting me know, is this a work project, or are you in the middle of some home renovation? Drop me in the comments down below and let me know. That helps me connect with you guys to just know what you're going through out there. I do post weekly readings, so come back next week. We'll see if this energy continues, or if there's something totally new here for you. And also, once again, if you like my reading style, please do like and subscribe. It really does help my channel, and I would really appreciate that from you too. So again, Taurus, thank you so much, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.